Hey, this it's Parker. What's up, man?
How you doing today, Parker?
Good, man. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. Man, I got to tell you, you guys are a band that knows how to rock. I love this song, Leather and Lace.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
I mean, this is one of those songs, when I first heard it, right away I'm going, wait a second, I want to see this song live on a stage.
It has a good range of dynamics, and it's a lot of fun to do that one.
What's it like to be with everybody in the studio when you're putting that together? Because it does it come out all at one time, or did you guys use different riffs and pieces parts all the way?
So you actually use our process is it's a little different. Usually, me and I'm the guitar player, and then Leo Unnermark is the vocalist. And usually, it's just me and him. We just hang out in a room together, and we'll kind of lay out like a structure for a song. So we'll usually put down the guitars, and then we'll put down some like demo bass and demo drums and stuff, and we kind of just gradually iron it out from there. And it's a really cool process, because every time you put down a layer, you start to see how like the song builds out, and then you start to little intricacies and little stuff, whether it was intentional or not, starts to come out. But yeah, and then of course, when you get together with all the boys in the studio and you start to play that thing and rehearse it for live, man, that's where it's at.
Is it like Def Leppard? Because in the way that Def Leppard, I mean, there's so many layers to their music, and they had to learn how to bring those layers to a live stage.
Yes and no. I think everything that we write, we try to write it from the practical standpoint of like, can we pull this off live? Because especially nowadays with all the recording software, it's super, super easy to get carried away with adding a bunch of different layers and getting I mean, that started back in the 80s. But it's all about doing something that you can still honestly deliver it, but it also, you get to be free with your creativity and create a final recording that is as awesome as it can be.
You were talking about that guitar. My God, in this song, Leather and Lace, the way that you have that guitar going and then you slip into twin guitars, oh my God. That right there took me way back to the Eagles and other bands like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of influences that go into the music, but I mean, one of the things, if you listen through our stuff, it's all, I love guitar harmonies, man. I just love them. I put them every single place that I can. It's just such a, yeah, I love them.
One of the things I got to give you kudos on is the way that, in the video, and what you guys do is you show the unity of everybody together, because for so long it's always been a solo shot of this person or a solo shot of that one, but you guys are a solid unit in this, and you're doing rock star moves, and you make rock really look like the god heroes that you are.
Yeah, I mean, we for that video, it was a very like minimal budget, and it's all very straightforward. And we just wanted, instead of to get too carried away in the theatrics and all this stuff, we went into a warehouse, we got some lights, and then we just played the song a few times, and then we had the video.
Well, yeah, and that video also features two of the most famous legs on the planet, or she's going to be. My God, I mean, that's how it opens up.
That's my sister.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, the aesthetic in there,
Now, what is it like to? I mean, you guys met while you were studying music in Los Angeles, but in this very competitive music world, how do you develop a creative trust between everybody?
Well, dude, especially in rock music nowadays, I think the thing is that I'm not saying it's dead. I'm not buying into that whole thing, because it's not. I think it's bigger than it's ever been.
Yes.
But the thing is in terms of developing like a creative synergy, and it's just tough to find the right people. That everybody's really spread out, and it's also just like a personal thing. I think now with rock music, you have all these different like kind of styles and genres within rock music. So you'll have people who are into punk, or people who are into new metal, or people who are into like more 80s like hard. Everybody's all over the place. So it's pretty difficult to like find the right people to get that synergy with. But I was Leo and I were lucky enough to cross paths, and I think after that, now here we are.
I'll tell you what, though, what's really interesting about your sound, and first of all, this is coming from the album Gas of Twilight. The sound is it's unique and it's all its own, and it brings back memories of when I discovered AC/DC, when I discovered Van Halen, Judas Priest. I mean, you guys own your own sound. Those vocals, those guitars, everything is you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, first, thank you. I'm glad you pick up on that, but I mean, I think our whole thing is we're not necessarily trying to replicate anybody or trying to do anything. It's just, we personally love music and we have a lot of influences, and instead of trying to be like, oh, we're going to try to fit into this sound or that sound, it's like, no, this is just the sound of how we are when we write music. and some songs we get a lot of different band comparisons, and like they're true, because it's like, okay, this one song, it has like, oh, it sounds like Judas Priest, and every other song it sounds like Iron Maiden or Great White and Whitesnake, and we get all kinds of name drops, and it's all true because there's little bits and pieces of all those musicians all in there. But yeah.
Am I wrong into saying that it's like everybody is the front man in this band? Because it really seems like that there is a lot of togetherness going on.
Well, actually, the dynamic of our thing is pretty interesting. I think every band is kind of different in terms of who does what in the role. But I mean, with us, it's pretty much me and Leo are we're the captains of the ship, and then we have Mr. Stefan and on guitar, we have Johnny on bass, and we have Mike on drums, and they flow with with what we're doing. But at the end of the day, it's all about just creating the best sound, and it's all about the song. It's not about the ego and trying to be this, that, or whatever. It's just, make the best overall music that you can, because that's what makes the biggest impact. Yeah,
because if you guys are going through an experience, you're sharing that experience with us as listeners, and that's why we keep coming back to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, one of the really cool things that I read about you guys is that you tend to play around with opposites, light and dark, life and death, and even look at this, leather and lace.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're starting to tap into some of the fundamental nature of how we do things in this.
But isn't that the fun part about music, though, is that when you can make that connection with those that are picking up your music?
Yeah, no, that's one of the most incredible things about this whole thing is to be able to take something and to express an idea, or just create something that has, and people pick up on it, and the way they respond to it and the way they see it too. It's so incredible to see that happen.
Now, one of the things you kind of touched on a little bit is that rock is bigger than life right now, and it is. But the thing is how do we get people to find you? They're finding you on Spotify, they're finding you on iHeart, they're finding you. But it's like it's not like when we used to go into the record store and we'd all be jamming out in one of their little tiny rooms with a record player.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more outlets out there, but in the same light too, there's also a lot more stuff out there. So it's a little more crowded, but you can find us pretty much every modern digital platform out there that has music. So like you said, that's Spotify, that's Apple Music. We have a couple music videos out on YouTube, yep. And then iHeartRadio, Deezer, Tidal, Amazon Music. The list goes on. And then in terms of physical stuff, we have CDs for both our new album, Gates of Twilight, and then last year's debut, our self-titled EP, Wings of Steel. We have those available through our Bandcamp page. So that is bandcamp.com/Wings of Steel. You can get the real physical copy directly from us.
And I'm so glad that you guys have the CDs. And the reason being is because my grandson, who's 17, he wants every CD he can get his hands on. And I look at him and I go, but the music is readily available to you on streaming. He goes, no, I have to have something physical in order to listen to it.
Well, that's awesome that your grandson is 17 and he's on that thing, because I'm 21, and people my generation, it's not really not a lot of people catch on to it. But I mean, he's absolutely right though. It's having the physical having the physical copy, it's a much more personal experience. You can pull it up digitally on the Spotify and you can see it. And I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, you're getting the music and like, that's, that is the most important thing, but having the physical thing there, you can pick it up, you can like really look and see the detail and all the covers. And then you can go. Another big thing too is like, you can go and you can read the credits. You can't really read credits on Spotify and stuff. You can see, oh, who did the artwork, who did the mix and master, where was this recorded? And then on top of that, you get like lyrics and stuff. So you can go and read all the liner notes and all that. And it's a much deeper, much like you get to know the music a lot better that way.
One of the lyrics that you have in the song is, she knows what love can be. And inside my mind, I'm thinking, every girl wants to be this girl. She knows what love can be.
Yep.
So now, how do you put together a tour? Are you gonna stay in Southern California, or how is it that you build outward now?
So our plans right now, we're actually planning a tour for Europe next year.
Nice.
So that'll be we got scheduled to get on like this mecca of underground heavy metal festival. It's called Keep It True Festival, and that'll be in Germany next April. So we're right now what we're doing is we're doing it DIY style. We don't have any booking agents or anybody putting it together for us. We're just going and we're using the power of the internet to go and then of course we have a lot of friends who've referred us to people, but yeah, we're just finding all these different festivals and venues and potential places to play, and then we're gonna go out there and make it happen. But that's the immediate thing. We would, of course, because the other half of our audience is here in the United States. We have to come and play out here. So we're hoping that maybe late 2024, if not then 2025, we'll be able to get around and get to see all you guys out there.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, though, you talk about going to Germany. I've been with Judas Priest so many times, and they always talk about, Arrow, you've got to come to Germany and experience metal. It's not like America. And then to hear you're going to Germany, my God.
Well, I mean, I'll say, actually last year, personally, I went on vacation out there, and I saw a couple, like went to a few different little rock clubs, and I went and saw Iron Maiden, and he's absolutely right, man. The energy in the crowd, and I'm not saying anything negative against any other people anywhere else, but there's a very special energy out there.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there's a lot of different, compared to out here, there's not really as many like little festivals. There's like a big culture of festivals in Germany and kind of Europe too. Yeah. But so there's a lot of cool opportunities for us to get up in front of a bigger stage, in front of an audience that's like geared towards what we do. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense for us to go out there, but also we're just really excited too. So
would you say that metal or great rock is a little bit underground right now, and do you really want it to come above ground like it went kind of crazy in the 1990s?
I guess it kind of depends. I mean, I think a lot of like the really, really big bands, we're talking about like Metallica and Guns N' Roses and Def Leppard and Iron Maiden, like they're not, I wouldn't necessarily say they're mainstream the same way that, like, I don't know, like a Taylor Swift or Cardi B or whoever else is on the radio nowadays. Like they're not mainstream like that, but they have a very, 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 they're Titanic, huge, everybody knows those guys. But yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of the newer bands and like that scene, I guess you could say it's underground.
Yeah. To me, it's adding the mystique that Leonard Skinner and even and so many of these bands brought together, because you didn't really know a lot about the band until you bought the magazine. When you bought the magazine, you knew a little bit more. You went to the album.
Yeah, I think that culture, I think it's the mystique is always going to exist with somebody. But I think with the internet, we've made it you're a little bit more transparent as a human being now, especially like social media. I hear I'm posting pictures. This is what I ate for dinner. This is what I was at the gym. Like they can. I mean, it's still like most people they're not like stalking you, and they're not watching every single interview and every single thing that you do. But point being is, yeah, the information is totally out there. It's not quite the same back in the day.
Well, dude, you've got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. It's been great talking with you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Be brilliant today, okay?
Of course, man. You as well.